I grew up with two alcoholic parents. Mm, my mother was an alcoholic. My father was an alcoholic.
I was uh, I was sexually molested when I was younger, physically abused.
I grew up I grew up around a lot of violence and drugs and things of that nature.
My mother took us to a movie theater, I think when I was maybe 10, 11-ish. Anyway, she went and she never came back.
I was abandoned at a young age from time to time due to my mom's addiction, alcoholism.
I don't really remember too much as a kid, as a young child, but I've heard stories, about neighbors seeing me and my brothers looking in trash cans for food because we had no food.
But like that was like something that my life has been built around was like fights, drugs, like the physical abuse, and it was just like something that became normal to me.
And it was chaos because he was an alcoholic and he was very violent. And so that's kind of where the story started once I realized that my parents didn't care about me. And I'll be honest with you, all throughout my whole life, I never received no birthday presents or Christmas presents from my mom or dad. So had a lot of anger, had a lot of hatred, very misunderstood.
I was about 11. I was already smoking weed. I was already smoking pretty much everything. I was doing meth by then myself.
I was 14, 15 years old when I was first exposed to meth.
Alcoholism is, I started drinking. I started sneaking drinks when I was about 8 years old.
My life was incarceration, in and out of prison, on the streets.
It wasn't all about the meth, it was more of like what I could put inside of a needle and just put in my arm. Started shooting perks, fentanyl, heroin.
We were shooting heroin. We were, I'd lost my house, my cars, everything due to drugs and what it took to get drugs.
I didn't care about myself, and I didn't care about anybody. I was a real selfish individual.
I had a mentality that my father used to say quite a bit. It was always, I'd rather be feared than loved.
I stuffed a lot, my feelings inside, and I just built up a prison inside my head.
And so I learned to live in prison, so altogether, throughout my life, I've done 19 and a half years state and federal prison.
My relationship with my daughter, I didn't have a relationship with my daughter. I lived around my peers that didn't have a father in their life. I thought that was normal.
I was tired of seeing my family go through what I was putting them through. I missed my kids. By that time, I hadn't been around my kids for 2 years, so it was like, I gotta get to rehab, I gotta do this.
And I knew I had some type of purpose here, and I had to make a change.
I have to do something, or I'm just gonna die, or I'm gonna be out in them streets and catch a case, and I'll probably end up in prison for the rest of my life.
It's crazy, you sober up and like all these emotions start hitting you. You don't know what to do with them, you feel uncomfortable, like it's almost like you just like kind of come to, like realizing that your identity has been taken away long before you picked up. I have an ideal of like what my life is gonna look like when I get older. Like, I want to have a house. I want to have a family. I want to have a beautiful wife and some kids one day.
You know, today I'm a grandfather. I'm a father. I have the ability to make good choices today.
NAFFA popped into my head, and so whenever I left Amity, you know, I had one goal in my head, is to get back to my babies, is to be a good father again.
NAFFA gave me that everything that he explains or talks about, his principles, uplifting, encouraging, assisting, and being teachable.
The only thing that I truly believe that keeps me sober is a connection with a God of my own understanding.
I believe that prayers are real and prayers are powerful, and it took a divine intervention to have that spiritual awakening.
Walking into the future with the Native American Fatherhood and Family Association is just remarkable, amazing, and it's just unbelievable. You know, for someone like me to be in a position to not just, you know, represent my mentor Al Pooley, but to help people change their lives and reintegrate back into their families. For me, it's just phenomenal.
Because anybody can just be there with their kids, but to actually be a father and be a man is something totally different. So that's why I'm here at this program, and since I've been here, everybody's loving. It's like a family here. I'm not a patient here. They're actually showing me how to live. They're showing me how to be a father, and they're showing me how to lead and be there for my kids.
So like NAFFA like really it really like touched my heart, you know what I mean? Like NAFFA has a lot of principles and like teachings that growing up I wish I would have had.
Well, I'll put it this way. I've been in and out of his life for 17 years because his grind never stopped. He never stopped believing in this program. He never stopped pushing this message.
Like I feel like NAFFA has given me like a better understanding of like where like traumatic experiences in the past don't have to like determine like the decisions that I make today.
That we are worth more than the biggest mistake we've ever made in our lives. And we are precious, precious, precious.
It gives me hope.
Thank you for watching. We invite you to learn more about NAFFA by visiting our website at www.nativeamericanfathers.org.